I got a comment from one of you expressing that you are a beginner, but you want to look a little bit more natural when riding. Now, this is a very common thing. So this is a video for you if you yourself want to be a little bit more confident and a little bit less intimidated at riding in your area, wherever you may be as a beginner pennyboarder. What is good, YouTube? My name is Tyler Rossman, and you are watching Pennyboard Tylers. I myself have been pennyboarding and longboarding and skateboarding for years. However, when I first started, I was still a little rusty. I was a beginner just like you. We've all been there. So the first thing I just want to get you to kind of understand is that we all have been a beginner at some point. The very first thing that will help build confidence as a beginner is going to be riding on a smooth surface. Now, I've gotten a lot of comments from people where they say they have really rough road, really rough terrain, and it's not as easy to ride wherever they may be. Now, the very first thing I would recommend is trying to find the smoothest place you can. If you are going on a rough terrain, it's already going to make everything worse. So your balance is going to be off, your coordination is going to feel off, and you're going to feel a little bit wonkier when actually riding. So step one is finding a smooth area. The biggest way that I personally can notice if a person is inexperienced with riding is how they have their feet on their board. The most common thing I see is they have their front foot, whatever foot they're dominant on, is going to be leading straight. They're going to push with their other leg, and then as soon as they bring that leg onto the board, they're going to make a 90-degree angle. It's going to be perpendicular, just like this. And that, my friends, is what you want to avoid. And the reason for that is because you are more likely to fall in a position where your feet are perpendicular. Your balance is really thrown off. Your torso's in this weird spot, your feet and your knees are in a weird angle, and it's harder for you to turn left and right because your one foot is forward and one foot is sideways. So what I would recommend doing is, in order to combat that, when you push onto your board and bring that back leg up, you want to adjust this front foot to be more parallel to your back foot. It doesn't need to be perfect at first because, again, you're learning, but if we can just move it a little bit, you're gonna feel a lot more stable on your board itself, and it's gonna make it so much easier to turn. So just keep pushing, hop on your board, and then ease into turning that front foot. If you just keep working on this, you'll eventually get more comfortable with it and feel way more stable when riding. As a beginner, a lot of people go back and forth with their weight when they push. When you're actually riding, you want to feel comfortable. A lot of times, if we're not as coordinated or not as balanced, it's gonna throw off our actual push. So the first thing that I would recommend doing is just making sure you feel confident being on one leg. So you could do this literally anytime. You could just use a wall as assistance or a rail or anything like that and just practice actually being on one leg. Now, when you also want to brush the ground, a lot of times beginners just do small, choppy shot. Even if your weight is comfortably on one side, if you're just doing choppy pushes, it's very noticeable that you're a beginner. And again, that's okay. We just want to get a little bit more comfortable with extending our push. So that means that when we come up, we're extending our leg forward, touching the ground, and then we're extending all the way back. So it's going to be a larger time that this leg is being balanced. That's why balance on a single leg is so important when actually riding and specifically pushing. So you want to be more comfortable extending your reach with each push. If you do that, naturally your push is going to be way more comfortable, and you're actually going to be able to get faster speeds by doing this method in comparison to the choppy little small pushes. Another thing when riding on your board itself is just going to be looking at your legs and your torso. A lot of beginners are very straight. They're very stiff and they don't look as natural. If we have a soft bend in our knees, we're again a little bit more controlled and a little bit more balanced. If you are lower to the ground by bending your knees, you're gonna have a better center of gravity, which is gonna help you then feel more confident and in control when moving. Another thing is that I like to keep my torso nice and tight, because if you're a little bit loosey-goosey, you're gonna be kind of flailing all around. So like, it's not like you have to be super stiff and rigid, but we just wanna be kind of tight, controlled, and a little bit lower. Also, please don't keep your arms at your sides. I really like to move my hands around. If you naturally move your hands around, it can help with balance. So don't be afraid to kind of like move around, feel it, kind of like get in the flow of it. It's just kind of like hula hooping, you know, you're kind of like moving, you're feeling the rhythm of it. You can adjust left, right, center a little bit better if you engage your arms, your torso, and your knees better. I genuinely hope these tips help you become more confident in your riding and your ability as a human being to cruise and have fun. If I missed anything or if you want any other tips and tricks, please drop a comment down below. As always, my name is Tyler Wasserman. Thank you so very much for taking time out of your day to watch. It does mean a lot. I'll catch you on my next adventure. Peace out from outside. Watch out!